Fans, what's poppin'? It's your boy Simeon Russell, and I'm coming at you live with just a few minutes left in the fourth quarter. I figured I'd jump on a little bit early, something new. I know some people have asked a couple of questions about me possibly streaming live during the game, so I just wanted to test this out a little bit and kind of see what was going on. So I hopefully we can talk a little bit about what's actually happening live in the game. You know what I'm saying? So what's popping, people? Cole Vertis, what's popping, my brother? Vincent Crespo, Goku, Black Lives Matter, Emmanuel, what's popping? What's popping? Sick of losing. Hey, man, what we're going to do. So we're about to be 7 games below 500. Trey Burke is looking good. He looked good, right? 10 assists. 10 assists. Porzingis, still in the slump, fouled out. Is that his first foul out of the season? Might be. But you said Dotson should have been in the crunch time. The defense is a problem. In the beginning of the season, the Knicks were playing good defense. Right? They were looking, the defense was looking good. The defense was looking solid. Now, it's just not there. You know what I'm saying? It's just not there. I don't know if it's the move, the changing and switching lineups where they can't really get chemistry on defense, or maybe they just don't really have defensive players. You know what I'm saying? But teams are really picking us apart, and picking us apart easily. When you let a team score 100 and right now, what is it, 127 or something like that? When you let a team score so many points, man, I don't care how well your offense is going, you're not going to win the game. That's just how it is in the NBA. So the Knicks are, we're definitely in a free fall, and we're struggling to get out of it. I'm losing confidence. I know you all are losing confidence. I'm not seeing how the Knicks are going to get out of this free fall. I just don't see it happening right now. I don't see, they have some good players, but just not enough talent right now. We witnessed them not having, of course, the defense like we were just talking about. We witnessed, they have a lack of athleticism. And then at times questionable coaching. So, it's this is a tough loss. Like we said in the last game, the Knicks needed to win this game. You don't want to go 7 games below 500. And that's where we're headed. 7 games below 500. Who do we play next? Not even. We play tomorrow night versus Phoenix. That is a team that we theoretically should be able to beat, but you never know with these guys. You know what I'm saying? You just never know. If we lose tomorrow night, man, that's you can almost call it a season. If we lose tomorrow night, you can just about call it a season. You lose tomorrow night, we're 8 games below 500, and it'll be really, really. That means that you've got to you got to go on a serious run to crawl back in it just to be considered an 8th seed. And I really don't think that the Knicks have it in them to make that kind of a run. That's just my opinion. But I don't think they have it in them. I do not think the Knicks have that kind of grit. They have that kind of heart to really hunker down and make that kind of a run. You know, we started off with so much promise. Now this free fall is disheartening. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely disheartening. But it's probably what we all expected from the beginning of the season anyway. You know, and what we had in the beginning kind of, you know, I guess it was fool's gold. And we said January was going to be the month. And it was going to be the month that really said who we are. And there we go. This is who we are right now. And it's starting to look like this is who we're going to be for the remainder of the season. You know. So now, 7 games below 500. Could possibly go 8 games below 500. Then we play a tough Boston team, I believe. You know, could possibly be, you know, before the end of this month is out, we could be 10 games below 500. You go 10 games below 500, we might as well forget about it. Yeah, exactly. Our longest win streak has been 3. You know what I'm saying? Longest win streak has been 3. I don't see a run coming with this team. I hate to say it. I hate to put it that way. But we're a soft team. You know what I'm saying? You know, we don't have grit. In the beginning of the season, we talked about having grit. The team talked about having grit. We don't have grit. You know, we don't have that kind of grit. And you know, we're proving it. We're proving it to everyone that we don't have that kind of grit. You know what I'm saying? And to have that kind of grit, I guess you can't expect players that aren't made to have that kind of grit, right? You know what I'm saying? You know, you can't expect tissue to be concrete. You know, you got to go get those players that have that kind of swag about them, that have that kind of grit about them. You know, and we don't have those kind of guys. Jeff Hornacek touched on it. We don't have them kind of guys. We don't have that toughness. You know, we get pushed around, we get beat up, we get thrown to the floor. You know, and well, it's you know, that's not what we want to see from a New York team. Unfortunately, that's what we've been used to for the last 10 years. But that's not what we want to see from a New York team. And some things you just can't instill in guys. Some things guys, they have it or they don't have it. You know what I'm saying? I think that toughness is one thing that some guys just have it or they don't have it. You know what I mean? And we don't have it. We don't have the guys that have that kind of toughness. Maybe we got a couple guys that can have that have it. You know, I think, you know, Beasley can get down and dirty if you need him to. Or Quinn can get down and dirty, but he may not even be here. You know, Frank, he's got that grit. He can get down and dirty. You know, KP, you know, I see a lot of people say, you know, don't call KP soft or this and that. I'm not gonna call him soft, but I'm not gonna call him a tough guy either. You know, I don't know if he's getting that down and dirty. You know, getting in there and scraping for rebounds, scratching and clawing. I don't know if KP is doing that. You know, as much as I love KP, I'm not sure he's that guy. And you know what? That's cool, though. That's okay, because KP is a star. Maybe you don't want him down there scratching and clawing and biting and fighting his way. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you want the other guys doing that. You know, so that, you know, you keep KP healthy, especially he's young and he's thin still. You know, he's gonna get stronger. So right now you probably need some guys to do that dirty work for him. But we need more of those guys. We need more of those guys that got that kind of meanness to them, and we don't have them. We won't have them. I seen somebody ask about Hardaway. I think they sat Hardaway out because it's a back-to-back. Playing Phoenix tomorrow, so I think that's the reason why Hardaway sat. I've been kind of in and out of meetings all day, haven't really been able to pay attention to everything that was going on, but I believe that's the reason why Hardaway sat. You know, Marvin A, you said we can get the 7th or 8th seed. It's slipping, and it's slipping real fast, bro. That 7th or 8th seed is something that I was really looking forward to, but we are slipping. You know what I mean? Right now, we're 7 games below 500. We play Phoenix tomorrow. Hopefully, we win it, but you never know with this team. We're on the road. We can't play well on the road. As a matter of fact, even before we went on the road, we weren't playing well at home either. So I'm not confident about tomorrow, honestly. And if we lose tomorrow, you're 8 games below 500, then you play Boston. And Boston, they're going to be on their get backs because we beat them last game. You know what I'm saying? So you're talking the possibility of us being 9 games below 500 within the before this weekend is out, or by next week, or by the beginning of next week or something. And if that's the case, man, we're done. The season is done. And I know people can say, well, you got to have hope. You got to have this. Look at Miami. We're not Miami, though. We don't have the same kind of toughness as Miami, like we just talked about. You know what I'm saying? The reason why Miami could go on a run like that is because they got guys that get out there and they'll bully it up. Let me say that a little clearer. They will bully it up. They'll fight you, bite you, scratch you. That's the way they ball. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. We have no dogs on this team. I'm saying no dogs on this team. But a team like Miami, they got dogs. That's the reason why they can go on the kind of run they did last year. We don't have it. Not right now, we don't. Ace, Bezel, you say the refs killed us tonight. I don't even... The way I see it, man, if you play aggressive, you'll probably have the refs on your side, man. Every night the refs can't kill us. I'm saying I don't even look at tonight and say it's Jeff Hornacek. The Knicks just, when you're on the floor, man, you gotta ball. You gotta put it out there on the floor. You can't let guys walk down the lane. You can't let guys pass the ball around and you run around like the chicken with your head cut off because you scrambling on defense. You can't do that. And that's what we did tonight for good portions of the game. You know what I'm saying? So, the refs are going to make bad calls. And I understand what you're saying, Ace. There'll be some bad calls out there. I know. I get that. You're right. But the Knicks, you know what I'm saying, they gotta take the game into their own hands, and they don't do that. They don't do that. Felt like the Laker game. Yeah, it did. You know what I'm saying? And we're getting too many feelings like that. Like that. Too many all the time. So I hate to say it. I don't want to say it. As a Knicks fan, I want to believe, always want to believe as a Knicks fan. But if I'm looking at it objectively, I don't think we have it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we have it to pull down that 8th seed, that 7th to 8th seed. And so here we go from here. Now we go from here. I still think that they wait until this month is out. And right now we're 2 weeks away from the trade deadline. I think that Steve Mills, Scott Perry, them guys, I think they wait until this month is out. We get closer to that trade deadline. They look at where we are and if they believe that we're a playoff team or not, and they make their decisions based on that. I think that they probably have, I know they're working the lines, they're working the phones and trying to figure out what they're going to do. I think that, most teams, they have some things lined up. They got some things ready to shoot. They got some bullets in the chamber. So as soon as something goes down, they let them off. You know what I mean? And And then you see trades start to knock down. So I think soon, when we get closer to that deadline, you're going to see some trades start to happen. And I think the Knicks are going to be involved, and everything is going to be based on the way that this month finishes out. Yeah, let's talk about something positive. Let's talk about Trey Burke, man. Let's talk about Trey Burke. Trey Burke, I like the way he played. I like what he did out there. What he had, 14 points, 10 assists. Let's see. Trey Burke, 18 points and 11 assists. He was cooking. You know what I'm saying? He cooked it tonight. He was 8 for 12 from the field. You can't expect that every night. But he did it tonight. 11 assists, 0 turnovers. Played 28 minutes, and I think you're going to see him. I think you're going to see him out there on the floor. You know what I mean? You're going to see him out there on the floor. And, yeah, if he continues to play like that, all that Kemba talk will be out the door. You know what I'm saying? Out the door. And I'm going to tell you honestly, I kind of liked when, having Trey Burke and Frank out there at the same time. Looked good to me. You know what I'm saying? It looked good. Frank's got to knock down some of them open threes, but he'll get more looks from the three-point line with Trey Burke out there on the floor, because Trey Burke is going to penetrate, draw some attention. And I think you'll see Frank get cleaner looks. And I think you'll see Frank go to the basket a little bit more too. You know what I mean? Playing with Trey Burke. I think it's a good look together. Yeah, he's got to knock them threes down when they're wide open. But he will. He's got that great spirit of being a young guy. He'll knock them down. He'll get it. I mean, some guys come in and come into the league and they just can knock them down. Some guys, it takes a little while. But it'll come. He'll get it. He's got shots not broken. He's got decent form. Most of the time they're online. He's just got to learn how to. He's just got to be consistent, and it's gonna come with practice and experience. But I just it's like fire and ice to me. You know what I'm saying with them too. I like, Trey Burke did have good activity on the defensive end as well. You know what I'm saying? And Frank, of course, plays defense. Trey can penetrate. Sorry about that, guys. I'm kind of in a bad area a little bit. Of course, I'm on the road again. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm on the road, it happens. But I'll be back in the studio tomorrow night. But I like seeing Frank and Trey out there together. I like the way it looks, and more than just putting the whole technical thing aside, putting the whole technical basketball X's and O's stuff aside. Just having Trey and Frank out there, having that youth out there on the floor brings energy. At them guard spots. Just having lively bodies out there brings some energy, so I like it. And I hope we see more of it. I think we will see more of it. You know what I mean? Rodney Hood. You know what? That's yeah, Frank was 2 for 10, something like that. No, Frank was 1 for 6. Frank was 1 for 6. Still not great, but he's 1 for 6. I mean, listen, honestly, just like when KP was a rookie, I didn't get mad at anything he did, whether he had a good night or a bad night. I didn't get mad at it at all. It is what it is. He was a rookie. Come to expect it. I wait until his 3rd year before I start getting mad. You know what I mean? 3rd year, that's when I'm like, okay, you've been in the league, you had time to adjust. Now what's up? So, whatever it is. Shout out to Frank for making that the rookie team. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him for that. That's a good thing for him. That's positive. That's a confidence builder. You know what I mean? To make that rookie team. So big shout out to Frank for that. And it's going to be nice to watch the All-Star game and be able to see KP in watch All-Star weekend and be able to see KP in the All-Star game and see Frank in the rookie game. So that'll be nice. That'll be what's up. You know. You say Jack has done his time. Time to start the youth. Couldn't stay on Murray or Harris. Yeah, I mean, Jack was 6 points, 8 assists. I love the assists that Jack gets. He really does pull down those assists. What is he averaging this year in assists? I know, defensively, sometimes he hurts us, but he's pulling down 6 assists, 8.6 assists a game. It's not terrible. I like the way he's able to find people, but we need some lively bodies out there. We need them out there, and I think, out of respect, Jeff Hornacek is probably going to continue to start them, and when we see, after we get to this, maybe after the trade deadline and the All-Star break, then we finally see. Maybe he talks to Jack and say, hey, we're going to put you, you're still going to get some minutes, but we're going to see. Yeah, I mean, it was only a matter of time before Jack showed his age. You know what I'm saying? Only a matter of time. Even, Hornacek played him a lot early in the season. If we were up 20, down 20, he played him in the fourth quarter anyway, didn't rest his legs. Jack's at the point where he needs to be playing spot minutes. I think it'll happen this season. Knicks had 32 assists tonight. And, yeah, I mean, that's all fine and well. 32 assists, that's really good. It's the defense. It's the defense. I'm saying is that, we got to do it on the defensive end. If we don't do it on the defensive end, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And we gotta tighten up our defensive schemes. I mean, like, we do things like, I don't remember. It was in the third quarter. We were playing really good defense, and then Lance Thomas lets whoever it is cut Wilson Chandler cut right behind him. You know what I'm saying? Basic defensive skills, basic defensive fundamentals tell you, keep your eye on the ball, keep your eye on your man, keep your head on a swivel, be back far enough so that you can point to your man and you can point to the basketball. You know what I'm saying? Basic defensive principles we don't practice, and that really bothers me. So it tells me that either the players just do not have the skill set and the fundamentals to practice those basic principles, or, I mean, at this point, you would hope that those principles don't need to be taught. But if they need to be taught, then that's what the coaches have to do. That's what the coaches got to do. Denver made us look lazy running the same cut under the basket plays with Chandler. Yeah. And we didn't have the coaching or the players to be able to pick that play up and sniff it out. And you should. You're in the NBA, you got professional coaches that get paid a lot of money. You get players that are getting paid to play basketball. That's all they need to do is play basketball. To make a living, they should be able to sniff that out. Easy. But all this being said, Trey Burke had a positive night, and I'm glad. He had a good night, and I'm glad. You know what I mean? He better had earned some minutes to play tomorrow night, and I think he will. So that's definitely, that gives, it's going to keep giving us something to look forward to. You know what I mean? He had 28 minutes tonight. Beasley, of course, is playing well. What do you guys think, man? Excuse me. KD, made some comments about Beasley. Agreed with the comments that Beasley said about offensively being just as good as LeBron or himself. You know what I'm saying? And he's proven it on the floor. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely proven it on the floor. That's what I was going to ask Emmanuel. Do you think how much do you think Beasley's going to get paid? And has Beasley finally figured out? Well, I guess he's already had it. He's always had it offensively. Has he figured out on the defensive end, and as far as being a complete basketball player and keeping his head straight? Has he figured that portion of the game out? And if so, and if he's going to get $10 million a year, are we going to pay him $10 million a year? Listen, I like Beasley a whole lot, but do we give him $10 million? See, the thing about what we're trying to do, if you're looking at it from a management standpoint, is you're trying to keep players on a small contract. You got a couple of players, unless you're paying someone that's transformative or that is unless you're playing someone who's transformative, or you're paying someone who's transformative, or you're paying someone that really gets you 5 games, increases your win total that season by 10 games. Let's say 10 games. Then you really want to give that person money. But I don't know if Beasley increases our win total, right? But he's definitely a player that you'd like to have on your team because he can, of course, light up the scoreboard. But the situation that we're in, he's probably going to be looking for a longer contract. He already said it. He wants to be in New York. He wants to stay in New York. He'd like to settle down and have a home in New York. If he wants $10 million, do you pay him $10 million? Honestly, I don't know if Beasley's going to get it because I don't know if other teams in the league are going to pay him that much. That's my opinion about him. It all has to do with his age. He's going to be 30 soon, and his his checkered past. So Beasley is going to be an enigma this summer as far as what happens with him. I'm not sure Scott Perry and those guys are actually going to know what his value is. So we're going to have to figure out exactly what to do with Beasley. I'd like to have Beasley on the team. 2 years, $25 million. That's $12.5 million a year. I mean, does he get that? Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see. You know what I'm saying? We'll have to figure it out. I think the Knicks will wait to see what other teams offer him, honestly, and then make a decision. That would probably be the smart move, because you don't want to jump out there and pay him something to another team and then he really isn't worth that much. You don't want to pay him too little. You want to pay him exactly what the market says he's worth. You know what I mean? So you let him talk to a couple of teams, find out how other teams value him, and then you make a competitive offer if he's somebody that you want on the team. But he seems settled. You say he needs incentives in his contract. That could be, because if you think right now, he has an incentive because he's on a $2 million contract, and next year he won't have a contract. Well, I mean, he's a free agent, so yeah, he has an incentive this year, a natural incentive. So you could be correct. You might be right, offering them some incentives. You know what I'm saying? It might be exactly what Beasley needs. Kid BV, I do want to keep Lee. Um, but it could be hard, honestly. You know what I'm saying? It could be hard. I mean, we have him signed for another 2 years, $12 million a year. Um, Other teams are interested in him, and based on what we're doing and where we say the team is going after the trade deadline, we'll know what's up with Lee. You know what I mean? But I would like to keep Lee. I think that Lee is a good vet to have around the guys. He has a strong voice. Um, besides the one time when he blew up at the referee, and the referee called a bogus call, bogus technical on him though. You got to, keep that out there. But besides that, he's been a model player, a good leader, a good role model, and I think that you want to keep a guy like him around, in my opinion, for the young guys. And I know that Scott Perry likes to have guys like Lee around. Yeah. David Perez, you say Scott and Mills will definitely be looking to sell at the trade deadline, but cautiously. And it has to be cautiously. And, they may be looking to sell at the trade deadline, given the way the season's going right now. If the Knicks were 500, I don't think they'd be looking to sell. But the way the things are going right now, and Ian Begley, I think it was Ian Begley, wrote an article about it. I wish I was at home in the studio, I'd bring it up. But and what he said is that, Scott Perry is going to look at the team, decide whether or not they're a playoff team, and then make his moves based on that. And with the way things are going, I don't know how much of a decision he has to make. Right now it's looking like the proof is in the pudding. But if you have a fire sale, you got to be smart. Now, it's not the kind of fire sale that other teams, like teams that were really expecting to do something. It's not that kind of a fire sale, I don't think. But you may be selling a little bit, and unfortunately, Courtney Lee may be a coveted player. Now the thing is this. If you're trading Courtney Lee, unless you have a team that has cap space to eat his contract and then give you a pick for him, then you're just going to trade Courtney Lee and trade for someone else who's making $12 million a year. You know what I'm saying? What kind of young player are you getting that's making $12 million a year? Like who? Who do you get for him? I think that's the question to be asked, at least for me. Who do you get for Courtney Lee? At $12 million a year, of course you got to match salary. Maybe you get a couple of guys, but then if you get a couple of guys, then you got to send guys out, right? Then you got to waive guys just to make room. Or maybe you trade them just to free up cap space. You trade them for 3 guys that, make $4 million a piece or something, and you're not going to keep any of them, or you're only going to keep one of them. So some of those things might come into play, and I think we might see some of those type of trades that really don't bring us back assets but free up cap space so that we can make more moves in the summer. That would make sense. That would make sense. Sealy would turn the Cavs around. In fact, Sealy, he probably would fit well with the Cavs, especially if they're thinking about trading Iman Shumpert. He might fit well with the Cavs. And honestly, I don't think that Courtney Lee definitely wouldn't be upset with being traded to a championship team, a team that's contending for a championship. I think that he would probably like to stay in New York. because he's bounced around so much since he's been in the league. What did they say? He hasn't been on a team for longer than a year and a half. So I think he would like to be settled. But he did say, he wouldn't be upset if he was traded. He's kind of used to it. So, he could be a candidate, but I'd like to keep him. Ronald Martinez, you know what? You said, thank God we didn't draft Moutier. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not even going to lie. When we drafted KP, I wanted to draft Moutier. I did. I liked him. You know what I'm saying? I thought that, and he's still a young guy. He's still got time to do something. He can't. He's not a scorer, and his decision making is a little shaky. But I liked him. We made the right move, obviously. We made the right move. Now I seen someone say, let's talk about Kawhi Leonard. Honestly, I haven't been paying attention much to the news today. Do we have some breaking or some news on Kawhi Leonard or something? The most that I know is that right now it seems a little bit disgruntled with the Spurs. People are saying that the rift between Kawhi and the franchise is a legitimate concern. And we talked about Kawhi in the last show a little bit, and and I just posed the question: is Kawhi Leonard a franchise guy? Some people said yes. Most people said yes. I kind of likened him a little bit to Danny Granger, better than Danny Granger. I'm just looking at his career arc. He kind of reminds me of Danny Granger. Then Danny Granger, he went down. Once he suffered a knee injury, he wasn't the same Danny Granger. Kawhi, he started off his career really slow, and then he rose. The question I have about it is, looking at what Kawhi's done the last 2 to 3 years, is he going to remain that same guy for the remainder of his career, or for the remainder of his prime? Let me say that. Do you guys think that Kawhi is going to remain the guy that he is for the remainder of his prime? Now you can't really base anything on this year because he's only played maybe 14 games. So he's averaging 16 points a game this year, but he's barely played. So he hasn't really had time to mix in with his squad. Emmanuel, you say Kawhi is not a franchise player. He's in the same level as KP, a good number 2. You see, that's my question about Kawhi. You know what I mean? That's my question about him. Who's Mark? I never said Danny Granger wasn't decent. I talked about his career arc. Danny Granger was really good. I believe he was an all-star player. I liked Danny Granger. I really did. But after his knee surgery, he wasn't the same guy. He wasn't the same player anymore. But yeah, Danny Granger was really good. But still, my question about Kawhi is, like Emmanuel, you say he's not a franchise guy, and that's my question. My question, is he a franchise guy? I don't know. Robert Nurse, you say Kawhi is a franchise player if injuries are holding him up from being a franchise player. That's what you're saying? Kawhi was supposed to be MVP this year? Maybe. I don't know. You say he was the main reason why the Spurs won. He made LeBron work that finals. I mean, I know. I know everything that he did. And, I'm just asking the question because I'm not totally sure. You know what I'm saying? I've seen him play. I know what he can do. I know what kind of talent level he has. You know, I'm just not totally sure if he is a franchise guy. That's my that's my question about him. You know what I'm saying? That's my question about him. You know, he's a top 5 player. I get that. I get that. And you come across players from time to time who, for a good 2 to 3 year stretch, they're a top 5 player, and then they're no longer, and then they fall out of that upper echelon. It happens. You know what I'm saying? You get guys who, sometimes you get championship teams who, they don't have Hall of Fame players, right? Or all of their players aren't Hall of Fame players. But they get guys who, for a certain stretch of their career, play like a Hall of Fame player for a good 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You know what I'm saying? And then the other parts of their career, they're not Hall of Fame players, and then that's the reason why they don't make the Hall of Fame. You get players like that who, it's just a career arc. They're here, they come up, and they drop back down. See, Hall of Fame players kind of start here, come up, and then they're here, and then they come down when they get older. So that's just what my question is. That's my question. And maybe he is the real deal. You know what I'm saying? But, when you look at his career arc, sometimes with his career arc, he kind of reminds me of one of them guys that, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's cool. That's okay. But he kind of reminds me of one of them guys that's like this, with a quick arc, and then boom. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. Would I trade for him? It depends on what we'd have to give up. You know what I'm saying? Because again, he's going to be 27 soon. Does he? I mean, if you traded for Kawhi and his contract, let's see what his contract is. But if you're trading for Kawhi Leonard, I think you're expecting that Kawhi Leonard is going to be your dude. You know what I'm saying? So, you've got to be, and Kawhi's used to winning. You got to be ready to win. If you trade for Kawhi, you got to be ready to win. And then, what happens is that, it puts pressure on management to put guys around them. You know what I mean? So, it's a question. Kawhi's making $18 million this year, $20 million next year, and then he has a player option for 2019, 2020. And if he takes that option, which it's hard to say if he'll take that option right now or not. He makes $21 million. So it's hard to say if he'll take that option right now or not because, we have to see what happens after this year. You know what I mean? And then you say Kawhi is getting max money, which is 200-something million. Maybe. I think that's going to depend on, he still has another year left to his contract. I think with Kawhi, it's going to depend on what happens this year and then what happens the year after that, next year. So I'm not ready to say that yet. Sorry about it, guys. I don't know why this thing keeps interrupting me, man, but I'm back. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of work to do tonight. I'm going to be up till about 2 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? I'll be up till about 2 o'clock in the morning doing some work, but I wanted to jump on quick. That's why I got on early. You know what I mean? So, that Kawhi is a story. It's a story, and we'll see what happens with it. Let's talk about Rodney Hood, because Kawhi is probably a long shot. To be honest with you, I think it's probably a long shot. Um, he's probably a long shot, but Rodney Hood probably isn't. Noah, you said Rodney Hood would be a great fit. I kind of agree. I think maybe he's a guy that's a little bit immature. That's the reason why you keep guys that have good leadership around them. You know, to help straighten them out. You know what I mean? But I think Rodney Hood would be a good fit. Right now, Rodney Hood, if I remember correctly, when we looked at it the other day, Rodney Hood was making like $1 million a year, a little over $1 million a year, something like that. Let me check. Oh, I'm sorry. He's making $2.3 million. Who's Mark? You say no Rodney Hood. Let me see that. You said no Rodney Hood because he gets hurt too much. Well, the thing is, if you get him on a small contract, it doesn't hurt. I mean, right now he makes $2.3 million a year. You know what I'm saying? If you can trade for Rodney Hood, maybe it's possible that he stays healthy and he plays. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't, and his injury woes are over. How long is that deal? He makes $2.3 million this year, and then he has a qualifying offer for $3.4 million the following year. Right? So if you traded for him this year, you know what I'm saying, and then you gave him the qualifying offer, and he didn't work out, then you let him go. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. King. Hood is a low risk and a high reward. You know what I mean? So I take a shot with him. I take a shot with him if we could get him. Let's see what he's doing this year. Look at some of his stats a little bit. I like his game. I like his style. Jazz don't want to pay him 15 to 18 million next year. You think he's going to demand that? And I'm not saying he demanded. I'm saying, do you think that's what the market is going to demand of him? Do you think that's what he's worth? Let's see. Rodney Hood, 16.7 points, 2.9 rebounds a game. He might be. He shoots for the season. He's shooting 41% from the field. Doesn't shoot a high percentage. 38% from three. That's not bad. It's pretty good. I mean, it's almost 40%. It's pretty good. 3 rebounds. Like to see a little bit more rebounds from him. Would like to see a little bit more assists from him. He's someone you can take a chance on. Is he better than Courtney Lee? I don't know if he's better than Courtney Lee right now. I mean, he obviously can score better than Courtney Lee. Maybe he doesn't shoot the same high percentage, and I'm thinking that's probably due to shot selection more than anything. Courtney Lee, being a vet in this league, is going to have a better shot selection. But my question is, do you think he takes Lee's minutes? I mean, if he's playing the 3, maybe he takes a few, but Lee can come off the bench. If you have a legitimate 3, he probably, when he got here, he probably wouldn't start. Knowing Hornacek, he would probably want to work him into the lineup. But let's not forget that Tim Hardaway Jr. really is a 2. Right now he's playing a 3. If you get a legitimate 3, you can always put Courtney Lee on the bench and let him play the 2 coming off the bench. So that's I don't think that's too much of a problem. Robert Nurse, you said Don't I think Kyle Quinn would be more helpful to the Cavs than Tristan Thompson? Better passer and better shot blocker, and I think better defender. Maybe get the first round pick. I don't think we're gonna get a first round pick for Kyle Quinn. I just don't. Uh, mainly because of his contract. He can opt out of his contract this year. So I don't think teams are going to be eager to give up a first round pick for someone who may not stay. So I don't know if the Cavs give up a first for him. If a team is giving up a first for Kyle Quinn, they're probably going to want us to take back some money. I'm not trying to take back money. I think it's a bad idea to take back money. I just seen Hardaway could be your second. Ishmael, you said, I still don't think Hardaway could be your second or third best player on a championship team. I think Hardaway can definitely be. I think he can be your third best player. I don't know if he's your second best player on a championship team. I guess it depends on. Well, let's see. Let's see. Still 25. Let's see what happens in the next 2 years. But Hardaway is probably your third best player on a championship team. At least your third best scorer on the championship team. Jamel, you said Rodney Hood is the answer. He's perfect 3-and-D guy in the wings. Well, he can shoot the three. He's athletic. He seems to be decent defensively. I mean, I wouldn't mind bringing him here, but then we'd have to see, what kind of money he demands. No, you say Billy for Rodney, would you do it? I think so. I think I'd do it. I'd do it. My only fear is that, Rodney Hood's contract, at the end of this year, he gets a qualifying offer for next year. That qualifying offer is $3.4 million. And then, so with the qualifying offer, he could choose to sign well, if the Knicks have to make the qualifying offer first, then he can choose to decline it, which if he chooses to decline it, then he'll be a free agent. And, he'll be in other teams will, make offers for him to see, and then you'll see what he's worth. And if he's worth a lot, then the Knicks are like, no, we're not going to pay that much money for him. Then, you lost a player. You basically lost a player for a rental. So, I think you have to be careful and probably talk to his agent, find out, what they're looking to do in free agency. Big Boss, we're talking about if he was traded to the Knicks. We're talking about if Rodney Hood was traded to the Knicks. We'd have to be careful. Let's say we gave up Billy and we got Rodney Hood, and then Rodney Hood declined the qualifying offer. Then we have to deal with him on the market. So now I believe if the Knicks, I think it's like this: if the Knicks do not give a qualifying offer, then he could be a straight up free agent. If the Knicks give a qualifying offer and he declines, then the Knicks would be able to match any offer that's out there. I think that's the way it goes. Raza, you said, what moves do I see the Knicks making? I see, I'm not going to name players that I think they'll be bringing back, but I think Kyle Quinn is going to be traded. I almost feel like that's 100% that Kyle Quinn is going to be traded. That's one thing. I think, we talked about it before. Because of his contract, Kyle Quinn can opt out at the end of the season. He likely will opt out. You say, why would it? Ralph, that's what I'm explaining now. I think that they will trade Kyle Quinn because he can opt out at the end of the season. He's making $4 million a year. He's outplayed his contract, which means there's going to be another team that offers him $8-10 million a year. And I don't think the Knicks are going to be willing to give him a $40 million contract. You know, when I say $40 million, I mean $10 million over 4 years, $10 million a year over 4 years, or something like that. I don't think the Knicks are going to be ready to commit that to Kyle Quinn. So he's going to opt out and look to get a contract. You know, he's going to look to get a payday. You know what I'm saying? He's 27, 28 years old, whatever he is. You know, this could be his last big payday, or he hasn't really had a big payday. So this could be his payday right now. You know, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Jamel. This could be Kyle Quinn's payday. And I think he's looking at it that way, and the Knicks aren't going to give it to him. Not on the path that the Knicks are on. So I think Kyle Quinn is definitely going to get traded. You know what I mean? I think he's definitely going to get traded. And then I think that the Knicks will try to make a move for a legitimate 3-man as well. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we need more length from that 3 spot. And not someone like Doug McDermott. Doug McDermott is, to me, he's a catch-and-shoot guy. You know what I'm saying? And while he is kind of athletic, you know, he's not the nasty kind of athletic. You know? And I think we need one of them guys that's long and, you know, has got that nasty kind of athleticism. You know, I like Doug McDermott. I think you keep him around if you can, because, you know, he's one of them guys that can, you know, that can knock down that 3. I like the way he moves off the ball. I like those type of things. But I think we need one of them 3s. You know, I think we need one of them three kind of guys. Is there any young ideal 3 you would give up our pick for? No, I wouldn't give up the pick. You know, and the reason why I wouldn't, I mean, to me, if I'm giving up a pick, it's got to be in a trade that would probably include multiple people. That really leads to somebody that's transformative. If I'm giving up any picks, that's just that's the way I feel about it. And the reason why is because, you know, when you have picks, you know, that's where you create your value. That's where, you know, that you get good value for, you know, 4 years or 5 years or whatever it is, however long they get signed. You get really good value. I mean, think about KP. He's making $7 million a year. You know, think about what he's going to get paid once his rookie contract is up. You know, so you get really good value from rookies. You know, and while they're learning, you know, yes, they're learning and developing, but, you know, you get really good play from rookies, and if you you get lucky, and you get some really good rookies that you feel can be your cornerstones of your team, and then you fill them in with some role players. You have because rookies make a little bit, you know, a small amount of money, relatively speaking. You have enough money to fill those role players in, and then because the rookies are yours, and if you ascend and become a really good team, you can go over the cap to pay, you know, your young guys and stuff like that. You know, so, you know, that's why, you know, I'm not too big on trading those picks unless you're really getting a transformative guy. You know, you say, Ishmael, you said, that's true. Never really thought about it that way. Was thinking maybe our pick range wouldn't land us anything good, so why not? But I see what you mean. That makes sense. Yeah. You know, who knows what our pick range would be? right now. We don't know what our pick range would be. So I definitely wouldn't do it at the trade deadline because you don't know, you don't know where we're going to be right now. But I mean, if you just look at last year, and this is supposedly a deep draft. Donovan Mitchell is 13. Kyle Kuzma is a late round pick. You can you can pick some talent out from down there. You know what I mean? So, and and you can always, unless you're getting, like I said, somebody that's going to transform your franchise at the deadline. You don't move those picks because at the draft, you can package those picks to make more moves, or you can move up in the draft. You know, so I think you really got to protect those picks because they're assets for you. Either if you use them to get someone transformative, or you use them to create value for your team. Yeah, we have Chicago's second round pick, but that Chicago second round pick, while it should be decent, it's not going to be as good as we thought that it might be. At one point, we thought that pick was going to be like a very, very early second round pick, which would have been pretty much a first round pick. But, with the way that things have gone, it may not. It may not be as good as we thought. Chicago is now 18-30. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7, 8 teams worse than Chicago. So now you're talking about that pick being like 40th or something, somewhere around there, or so maybe that pick isn't as good, but you never know. You know what I'm saying? But if you keep your first round pick, got Chicago's second round pick, you get close to that draft, you got 2 picks, and I think maybe we have our second round pick as well. Let me check and see. Draft picks. If we have our draft pick, our second round pick, let's see what we got. I'm about to look at that right now. So we have, for 2018, we have Chicago's second round pick. So let me read this. It says 2018 second round draft pick from Chicago. Chicago second round pick to New York through Oklahoma City. And then 2018 second round pick to Philadelphia swap. Philadelphia will receive the more favorable of the Los Angeles Clippers 2018 second round pick and New York's 2018 second round pick. So we don't have our second round pick for this year. We have Chicago's second round pick. I guess we must have traded it somewhere along the line. Yeah. Can we trade Ron Baker, Lance Thomas, and O'Quinn? Well, there has been some, I guess, according to Ian Begley, there's been some interest in Lance Thomas. He could be someone that goes. If we don't get a legitimate 3, a young 3, I don't think Lance Thomas goes. I think he stays. And Ron Baker is going to be hard to trade because of his, not that he's making a whole lot of money, but he's making $4 million a year, and right now he's definitely not worth that $4 million a year. So I don't know, I don't know how many teams, unless he's being used to match salaries somewhere, somehow. Who has a no trade clause? Ron Baker? He doesn't really have a no trade clause. I forgot how it is. It's something quirky that works out what makes it seem like it's no trade clause. But I mean, the good thing with Ron Baker, let me see if I can find that, because it's not actually a no trade clause in his contract. It's some other kind of quirky rule or something. Let's see. I'm gonna look it up right now. But the good thing about Ron Baker is that he gets $4 million this year, $4 million next year, and that's it. So the Ron Baker has a 1-year bird restriction based on the player option for 2018-2019. So it says Baker technically has a no trade clause and would have to approve any trade. So he has a 1-year bird restriction, basically. Whatever, however that's broken down. But I mean, in the end, next year is his final year under the contract anyway. So, next year is his. So, sometimes you get guys with good agents, right? That's good. I mean, look, I'm not hating on Ron, man. You get the money that you get. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how good you have played or haven't played, if a team is going to give you money, you go get it. Big up to Ron Baker for that. You know what I'm saying? Ron Burgundy. So, we're in for some interesting things in the next few days, man. We're definitely for some interesting things to happen. And I think we need to stay tuned and see what's going on. But guys, it's late. It's 12:22. It's not. I mean, we've been on later, but I've got some work to do to get ready for a big meeting tomorrow. I got a meeting that's gonna last me from 9 o'clock until 3 o'clock. 6-hour meeting. It's gonna be long. When I get chances, man, I'm gonna be sitting behind my laptop on Twitter, seeing what's happening, seeing what's going on. And if something happens, I might jump out, take a break real quick, and jump on just to say something, man. But I got a few more things. I got a few more reports I got to prepare for tomorrow. So I've got to jump off, but I'll definitely be on tomorrow night, back home from the studio. All right. So everybody rest easy. I'm glad we get a chance to vent a little bit about the Knicks. That lets us, keep our peace of mind, because we all know the Knicks can drive us crazy. You know what I'm saying? Thanks, everybody. Everybody, hit me with the peace and be safe out there. Same back to all of you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to catch y'all tomorrow night. Peace.